Start recording. Now, the buttons. F1 is camera. F2 is microscope. F3 is schematic. F4 is overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What's 2?
F2
Microscope?
F2 is microscope, which is unplugged. I usually turn the light off on this when it's away because it's a piece of shit halogen.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you piece. Okay, and that's that. And let me just move. So this is how you can see what you're doing. What's in the microscope? You'll have a nice view here. The trolls show up here. So this is the troll window.
I see. There's a Copaz there, so yeah.
So this is where the trolls go. But they're all going to be nice to you. Right? You going to be nice to Paul?
Never.
Anyway, have fun.
Yay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Yeah, I drew the short straw. Actually, we were going to be drawing 18650 batteries out of his bike battery, and whichever one explodes on you, they're the ones that have to come here and do a video. So what I got here? I got no parts. That's an issue. I know these need parts. Well, I'll solve that when we get to it. Hi! This desk is really tall. This chair is really short. I feel like a little kid here. Okay, what do we got? We got some board repairs. Got a MacBook Air. MacBook Air that came in with no backlight. And first red flag is this here. What do I have? I have overhead. I have overhead. That's overhead. Somebody ripped off the coating off of the bar and replaced it with some Captain tape. And this is some kind of warranty mark from some other. I don't know if they replaced the whole screen or that's a warranty from some other shop. But yeah, screws in the wrong place. Screen changed, and no backlight. So let's delve into this and see what's going on. Where am I? There I am. So here's our LVDS connector. Let's get some more light. So first things first, I see some picking at the fuse. So I think somebody broke something and didn't want to admit it. So let's check that fuse. Oh, look at that. Busted fuse. You can't see that. I don't know how to get the multimeter on the screen. Let's see here. Hey, Tim. Multimeter? Multimeter. Yay, multimeter. So that's the backlight fuse, and we have open line.
Scroll lock and pause.
Scroll lock and pause for multimeter and power supply?
Yeah, for multimeter and
I just clicked on the button. Okay. So I need a fuse, we know that, but let's just inspect things before we go into that farther. So yeah, I see some scratching around here. Somebody didn't know how to take out a LVDS connector. Whenever anybody works on their computer, comes from another shop or anything, always look for things that have been knocked off. People don't realize that these boards are kind of delicate. They're not delicate when they're inside the machine, although apples themselves are pretty delicate. But when you get it outside of the machine and you're touching these things, these little resistors and stuff, they can be knocked off by somebody's nail pretty easily. So just take a look through the more sensitive areas, especially around here. See these little diodes that are just hanging out in the breeze there? They come off so easy if you just nick this on the edge of a desk or something. So that's always a good idea. Just look around, make sure everything looks okay. See a little bit of corrosion right there. We could hit that with a Q-tip. After looking at boards for years, you get used to what components are supposed to look like and what corrosion looks like. Like some people would say, oh, look, there's corrosion right there. No, that's just fuzz. Oh, look. There's some corrosion underneath the backlight driver. Oh, corrosion under the backlight driver. New screen. Still don't have backlight. So either the customer or another shop had a computer with no backlight, and they just put a new screen in, and then they were upset that it didn't fix. I bet you that's the story. Seen it more times than one. So let me run over to my desk and I'll get parts for this. I need a LP8550 and I need a backlight fuse, which I will go get from store.rossmangroup.com, and I'll be right back. Store.rossmangroup.com for all your electronic needs.
No, you sound like you're in a tunnel.
I'm back from store.rossmangroup.com. Got my store.rossmangroup.com right here. These are my parts from my desk. This is stuff that I change on a daily basis. I always keep spares with me. So there we got some LP8550s. I'll need one of them. And I am out of fuses. I have no more fuses. So now I actually have to go to the real store.rossmangroup.com and get some fuses. One moment, please. I'm back from store.rossmangroup.com with my backlight fuse. So let's take care of this first. So yeah, I'm terrible at reading chat, so every once in a while I will look over there. I never understood how Lewis can actually sit here and read chat and work all at the same time. Never can do it. tweezers, flux. Flux, who's got the flux? Who's got a needle for flux? No needle on the flux. So I had to use a Lewis amount of flux because I don't have a needle for the flux. Gauge wire will work fine for the fuse. We have 12 gauge wire around here. I should put a piece of 12 gauge wire next to the fuse, just to show how comical that comment is. So I got way more flux than we need. Just preheat the board around the area a little bit. And we'll get in there right on that LP8550. Hot air station is on full and full, as always. I'll take some fresh solder. Oh god, this tip isn't that gross. Much better. Some fresh solder onto there. And I have no fume extraction. Now I have fume extraction. Okay. Wick. Wick, who's got the wick? That donation sound scared me. Do the minions deserve dead fishes today? Yeah, probably. It's been a productive day. Christopher Kelly, that's you that sends the sushi? That's some good stuff. Oh, I keep meaning to look at what restaurant that is, because that's some really good sushi. Q-tips, Q-tips, who's got the Q-tips? Can't find anything on the station. I would love to just transport all of this audio, video gear over to my station, because I know where things are. There's the Q-tips. Ew, they're the pointy ones. Ew. Ooh la la, fancy Q-tips. Okay, pads are cleaned. Nothing looks messed up. This one right here, this is the feedback. This is where Backlight is coming back into the chip so that it can see what it's actually producing. This one gets destroyed quite often. It doesn't even have to have liquid sometimes. Just moisture in the air can destroy this one just because of its proximity to other voltages and ground and the voltage that's on it. And then these two up here take a hit from liquid damage all the time. This is the incoming voltage. Now let me go get a syringe or a needle for Lewis's syringe, because that's just ridiculous. And we're back. Your opinions on commenting on the PATH trains. I don't take PATH. I take New Jersey Transit. And most of the time it's pretty good. Sometimes it sucks. I don't think they did enough to protect the ridership from COVID. Their official stance was that 50% of the trains, they will occupy to 50% capacity, which means they have a 10-car train, they only allow 5 cars open. So how is that 50%? So you're only giving us 50% space for the same amount of people that would be there anyway. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, now I have a nice clean flux with a real syringe needle on it. Now, 1 pawl of flux. And we'll put that right there. Try to align it, then we take our tweezers, push down a little bit. Kind of scrub it around. It'll stay just on its pads if you get it right. Yeah, that's good. I'll keep a little bit of pressure on it while I start heating. And melt it into place. Slid into place, make it dance a little bit. There you go. Clean up as we go. Now we could deal with the fuse. Yes, I said the dead fish's place is called Bondi Sushi. It's at the corner of 5th and 28th. Ooh, cool. Hi from Texas. Yeah, you're cold down there, aren't you? That's crazy what's going on in Texas. Is it all over with yet? How is Texas? I never follow the news. I only get news secondhand. Somebody posts something or something like that. That's the only time I see news. So let's add a little bit of fresh solder. It'll make the fuse come off easier. So now with a little bit of leaded solder into this lead-free, that'll be the first thing to melt. So that'll come off before anything else even gets hot enough to melt. I want to angle my air away from the, this is the Wi-Fi card and the connector there. It's all plastic on the inside. You got to keep your air angled away from that. Ah, it was 70 today. All right. We got a bit of a heat wave that came in too. It was like 43 today, I think it was. It was better than it has been, but I don't even think all winter we had weather like what Texas just had. You guys were down in like the teens and stuff for a while. We didn't have much of that at all winter long. And we're damn close enough to the frozen north. We got a new fuse. This is one of the only fuses in MacBook that actually does its job. Let me see if I got a 12 gauge wire. I know Lewis has wire laying around here. There you go. Let's change it. Let's just run a wire over the fuse. So we'll just put this wire over the and that wire could go right over the fuse, right? I'll just solder the wire right over the fuse instead. Yeah? No. This should be good. Let's see. Now what I'm worried about with this next is that it has this change screen in it. So I don't know if the screen was what caused this issue. So let me plug the screen into it, and then we'll check and see if the screen is still shorting it or anything like that. Every time Erica's yelling, "Oh my gosh," for the donation sound, it kind of startles me. It's funny. We have love teens. They're actually -6, -14. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we didn't have anywhere near that in New Jersey or New York. Maybe upstate New York, maybe like the Lakes area or something like that. This is the first year in a while we've had a lot of snow. And regrettably, I haven't been out skiing yet. Okay, I don't need anything to test backlight except that. I'll put this anyway. Yeah, just testing backlight. I don't need oh wow, they broke that. Brand new screen, they broke this. Yeah, the bar just came off. And fixed. Okay, let's see if we have a short and backlight output. Still on orange, yep. Good. And the backlight output. Let's test it from there. Yeah, that's just charging capacitors. That is not shorted. What's it like working for Lewis? This, honestly, is probably my second best job I've ever had. My favorite job I ever had, I was working for Lucent Technologies as a communications technician. That was a really good job. That was some fun times. That was good work. That was one of those old-fashioned companies that, you know, had a union and benefits and all that stuff going on. You don't find that anymore. Even if you do get hired by one of those old companies like AT&T, you don't get the benefits. This charger is atrocious. The pins aren't even coming out. I don't even know where this charger goes. Is this power supply? The power supply is not on. Power supply is on? I don't know this power supply. The power supply is controlled by that, isn't it? No. Is power supply on? Pushing output does not do anything on this power supply. It's probably because it's connected to the computer. Is there a computer power supply? There's just the display. There's no control for it. Okay. Is this on? Let's test power supply. Oh, this is tricky. I don't know if I could do that. Power supply is not on. Oh wait, is it? I just saw something. No, power supply is definitely not on. Oh boy. How do you turn on this power supply? Output does nothing. It's connected to a computer, so you probably have to use the computer software. This is funny. Okay, power supply is on now. And we have green light, and we have fan spin. And I can't hear chime. I didn't plug in any speakers. I did plug in. There is a speaker plugged in. And is that backlight? I don't see anything. What do we have on backlight output? Touch the fan. Scared me. Backlight input. 8.59. Oh, look, the fuse blew again. Wait, no, couldn't have. I have 26 volts on backlight. That fuse did not blow. 26 volts on backlight sounds low. So I think the backlight is just off. Oh, question mark folder. There we go. So yeah, we have backlight. So, not a bad screen. Somebody probably did screw something up, either that or that LP8550 that I saw a little bit of corrosion on screwed up the whole works at the beginning, and they just changed the screen thinking that was the problem. Oh, that one's done. It's the first repair I have here. Next one. Let me get the customer labels off. Just take the bottom off. Another error. This is an older one. This is a 2013 1466. We have no power. That one. Plug in the power supply. I got green light, I got orange light, I got nothing. I got 24 milliamps. 24 milliamps. This is one of the very few ones that I actually remember. So Lewis, a couple of the other guys here, like Anel, the one that did the troll repair earlier, they remember these things really well. That you plug it in and you have a milliamp draw, and they just remember them of what that means and what's going to be the problem with it. I just cannot get myself to remember all these things. But this one I do.
I hear you're interested in how the power supply is controlled.
Yeah, I wound up disconnecting the USB cable and turned it on and reconnected it.
Welcome to the world of Paul Daniels software. So when you use the Paul Daniels power supply software to view it, you can't turn the output on or off or change the voltage or amperage.
So you have to disconnect it, then you could change it, then reconnect it?
Yes.
That's exactly what I did. I just led myself to that conclusion.
Yeah. Welcome to Australia.
But then I lost it on the display software now. I just have to
plug it
turn
back in, you have to turn the
that
program
off and yeah.
So that's this CSI 3005P thing. Hey, where'd you go? Hey. Oh. This. You turn it off. And then you turn it back on. Oh, come on.
No? Paul Daniels, where are you?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh no, the Threadripper might be suffering.
I think it shows up with a different ID when you unplug it and plug it back in. I made a UDEV rule for this, but... Ooh.
This is why I don't use Linux. Like I was saying, I can't memorize all of these voltages or the current draws to tell you what's wrong with the machines. That's why I don't use Linux, because I can't remember all of these commands. I can remember DOS commands from that I used when I was a kid, but I can't remember new stuff anymore. It is. Just different. Okay, so 30 milliamps. I do remember that this one is. Screw this screwdriver. I'm getting my screwdriver. One moment, please. And we're back. A magnet. So this is my screwdriver. So this one, at somewhere hovering around 30 milliamps, is almost always the U1950, which I should have grabbed a donor board while I was out there. Oh wait, Lewis has donor boards. U1950 has to deal with Allsys power good, so you'll be missing Allsys power good because of U1950. Or it could be something else in the chain of Allsys power good. But the most likely culprit is U1950. Oop, why is that so loose? Somebody put the wrong screw in here? No, it was just loose. Oh, yeah. Right away, you can see that there's a little stain of liquid damage right here. Always right there. I don't know exactly. That's right in the middle of the machine. Right in the bottom of the screen there. There's these vents. Always a drop of liquid gets in here. The whole machine will be completely dry, but I don't know. You wash your hands, flick it off a little bit over your machine, it goes right in there every single time. And we flip it over. Boom. Oh, isn't that beautiful? It's a beautiful sight to me, because this is a repair that will work. The machine will be fine afterwards. There's no weirdness or anything. So we got one resistor here, don't look too good. U1950, the PP3V42. This is where the capacitor is here. This line is PP3V42 coming into U1950. This is where it always gets destroyed. There probably won't even be a pad underneath there. Yep, let's start off by cleaning it off some. You want to try to get some of this corrosion out of here. You don't want that mixing with any of the new solder that you're putting in. Clean some of the corrosion. I'll get that resistor off to the side too. Now we'll use a Paul amount of flux. See, that's more than a Paul amount of flux that's even just sitting on here. That's a Paul amount of flux. That's all the flux you need. You don't need more flux than that. I need some fume extraction. Preheat the board all around where we're working. And go right in for the kill. Yeah. So PP bus is, PP3V42 is just done from here. Take an X-Acto, let's do a little scrapey scrape. Ooh, there might still be a pad under there. Alright, we got a pad. And that capacitor looks okay too. It didn't wear away its solder. This needs some new solder. This needs some new solder. This is all sys power good. All of this stuff here, that's all corroded and everything. This is all sys power good. So this needs a touch up. That needs a touch up. That needs a touch up. And I'm not sure what this dude over here is for. I'll have to look that up. See if that's really important. No bigger the glob, better the job. No. Use the proper amount of flux. No more, no less. There's one pole of flux. That is it. Ooh, this tip is acting weird. Replace all this solder with some fresh stuff. I'm going to get nice little puffy pillows on these pads for this chip. Every one of the pads, nice big puffy pillows. Let's get some fresh solder on these. If they won't take fresh solder, then you get rid of them, put new ones on. But if the solder joints brighten back up, nope, that one's not taking fresh solder, that one's gone. That one as well, gone. That one as well, gone. They wouldn't brighten up, they go. Work on that pad a little bit. Make sure you get all the corrosion off the pad. There you go. Nice puffy pillow. Wouldn't more flux distribute heat better, help protect surrounding areas of the board when under hot air? No. Flux doesn't do anything with distributing heat. Flux is only there to, basically is like a soap to wash away corrosion and to wet solder more. So solder without flux will just like streak along the board. Solder with flux will puff up into these nice puffy little pillows that you see. No, you don't want more running away. All you need is what's underneath your work area. What you're working on needs to be covered in flux, and that's it. If the flux is, a centimeter away from where you're working on, because that's where you blew it, then it's not doing anything over there. It's just a waste. Now this is the challenge. I have to find a board in Lewis's donors that has a U1950. So this chip is in more than one place on a board. So here I have a donor board. Same chip, completely different place. And upside down from what I'm working with. But same chip. So we can take it off of there and put it on here. Make sure of my orientation. Oh, this trackpad. A trackball. Where are we? We're right here. So the red one's pin 1. And on the board. Pin 1 is that little circle. That's your marking for pin 1 usually, is a little dot or a little circle, something round most of the time. So I have the board in the orientation, so I'm taking off in the orientation, putting it right back down, make it easy on myself. Now I just got an alert that the Boston Bruins New York Rangers game is starting. Let's go Rangers. Give it a couple taps, make sure all the pads connected. Let's see, do we have the resistors? Yes, they are on this board. So I'll just transfer over all these resistors. Yeah, it's really hard working on this table so tall. Maybe not hard, just very different. Oh god, these tweezers are terrible. Oh god, no wonder why I can't pick up something. One point of the tweezer is longer than the other, so it just threw my resistor off to the side. Oh god, oh god.
Fall 2021, you should know by your age, says Christopher Kelly.
Yeah. It feels nice to me. The sushi is being happily devoured by the crew out there. Even Lewis is getting in on it. I have a Juice Vitality drink. Not sponsored by Juice Vitality. Okay, I went and grabbed my tweezers because screw that. Let's see the difference here. There's Lewis's. Here's one of my sets that I work with every day. Yeah, I need to fix his. I have some little knife sharpening blocks that I keep mine sharp on. Don't delay. Donate for Paul today. Let's see, where was I? Okay, I need to go get another board for that one because it's gone. Grab this one. This one goes here. Grab this one. Grab some flux off the board because I need some flux. Yeah, it's old, used, dirty flux, but it'll work. And let me grab another board for that other one. Does this have it? This has it. Your tweezers are amazing. You gotta be kidding me. I'll be fixing your tweezers when I'm done with this. A little bit of flux, a little of fresh flux on everything that I changed. Give it one final heat, make sure everything sits down nice. There you go. Now, as for this guy, let's find out what you do instead of just changing you. And it really doesn't matter, I could just change it, but I want to know what it does. I want to know if it affected anything. So here's where we were working at. This is not here. That's that big bright pad. Here's the things that I just changed. So see, all says power good. All says power good. This here, all says power good. This is U1950, what we just changed. Now, where is this? Is this what I'm looking at? Yeah. This guy is a strap resistor for EDP backlight enable. Look at that. So this is another thing that can cause no backlight like our last one. This one little thing right here, if this looks terrible when you look at it. So this right here can cause no backlight. And we are far away from anything backlight. This is the backlight driver over here. On the other side of the board, this is where backlight's connected. You know, all the way down over here, that's where backlight's connected. That's backlight driver. But there's your backlight enable all the way over here. So, the area that we're working on could kill your backlight too, this little guy. What size wire is okay for a jumper? That is very dependent on what jumper you're working on, what it's for. Is it some kind of little data line? Is it going to be carrying amperage? You know, it all depends on what it's going to. Usually you go by what it looks like on the board. So you're looking at something on the board that you want to jump. How big is the trace? What voltage is the trace carrying? What is it carrying it to? If it's just a little data line, you could use a tiny little like 48 or 50 gauge magnet wire, something like that. Something that's like iPhone size, really. I think we use mostly 44. Yeah, it's still on there, but that one side is definitely looks like crap, so I'm going to get this thing all the way off of here, clean up the pads, and put a new one on. And the iron is not going to do it. Let's get some hot air in here. What jumper do we use? Our normal jumper size that we have for that's pretty much everything is 44 gauge. That's like a good middle ground that, for most instances, that's what you use. Now, if you're jumping like PP bus or something like that to somewhere, or you're jumping DC in somewhere, you want something bigger than that. Yeah, how far do you need to jump to? That's also a consideration. What voltage it is, how much current it's taking, and how far it needs to go. solder anymore under that. A little scrapey, scrape. I use hot tweezers from time to time. Rarely, though. MacBook boards are too heat-sinky just about everywhere for hot tweezers to work. There's very few places on a MacBook board that hot tweezers are hot enough to actually take a component off. You can preheat it with some hot air and then use your tweezers. But most of the time when you want to reach for tweezers is because you're next to a connector that you don't want to melt. But I've just learned over the years how to orchestrate my air, how to point it, and what distance to use where I can melt something off right next to a connector without melting the connector. It's just something you got to learn after a long time of doing it. There you go. Nice puffy pads. Let's get a new resistor. That is this one. Now this is one good thing about Lewis and his flux usage. So I'm taking this off of this board. This is a donor board that I'm taking it off of. And there's so much flux on this board that this resistor that I'm taking off is dry, completely dry. But once it comes off the board, I'm going to dip it into a pool of flux that's on this board, and I will not have to dispense any new flux on my work area. So it's off. I'm dipping it in a pool that is on the donor board. And come in, and look, it's already covered in flux. Nothing more needed. And that's all you need when working on it. That little bit that was covered in, and look at how perfectly it flows into place. This flux over here, the stuff that ran away, it's not doing anything anymore. It was pointless to have that much. That was even too much. This will forever be a fight between us of what the proper amount of flux is. Look at that, my cleanup wasn't even that bad. You don't have to UC the board when I'm done with it. Although, this one has liquid damage. This one will be getting UC'd. There you go, new U1950, a couple of resistors there, a backlight resistor there. I do see a little bit more liquid damage off to the side here. Let's check on that. This here, nothing affected. I'm gonna get the Q-tip on that. That look okay. Yeah, it looks okay. These little test points like this, ooh, look at this. These control you. Yep, that's solid. That almost looked like it was rotted away and only a little bit left. But that's what happens to these. If they're carrying power and they get liquid on them, they will rot away until there's nothing left of them. Test points' lives matter. Some of them. Just get a good once over of everything. And this board should be good. Yeah, this side of the board looks good. Give a once over to the other side. Ew, a J tag. Okay, I think this is good. We can try it in its case.
Flux on that board?
There is plenty enough flux on that board.
I don't think so. Floyd said Paul stop being so conservative with the flux. Floyd says still needs more flux.
It's not conservative, it's the proper amount. I'm not being conservative, I'm just being proper. Look at this donor board. What's all that flux doing on there? Nothing. It's doing nothing. Where are you going? Nowhere.
It's dead. My leg is getting better, Hugo.
I don't know how you read chat all while you do this.
I'm not going to do it while I'm in the microscope.
I don't know how he... Maybe if it was here,
Depending on
but...
where I put my eyes, I can look up and stare at it. 500 milliamps?
Let's find out.
Oh, you connected.
No, I just don't want them underneath the board.
Could you keep the backlight cable potentially short out a tiny cap?
For the what?
The keyboard backlight could potentially short out a cap because it's exposed.
I would think so.
I've never had it happen, but some do.
I've seen the antenna wires, the antenna connectors short something out before. Okay.
That's happened.
Let's see. I'm not going to have a green light, but I do have fan spin. There you go.
600 milliamps.
That's working.
That means you're done. Quality control finished.
No.
Yeah, you're
No.
actually testing too.
This has to go through UC. There's other liquid damage. There could be hidden liquid damage. This thing needs to go through UC.
I need to jump a trace to a switch on a Nintendo Switch controller. I can't even see the trace with the naked eye. Can I just scratch in the solder?
Yes, you can. Do you have a good magnifying glass, microscope, something? You really need to be able to see what you're doing. It's absolutely amazing. If you're working on this stuff, it's amazing to get a microscope. Even the cheapest one that's out there, that SE200, it changes your whole world of how to work on electronics. It's amazing. And yeah, it all depends on what voltage it is. What does it look like? Like you say, you can't even see it with the naked eye. This is the 44 gauge wire. It's a little bit thinner than most human hair. That would be somebody with thin hair if they had stuff that big. I can actually see it on the monitor too. It's tiny, and it's coated in an enamel, so it looks like it's bare copper, but it's not. It won't short on anything that it's touching unless you scrape away at it with a soldering iron and tin it first. Bubble tea, no, this is a berry colada from Juice Vitality, the place that was right down the street from our old shop. We still go back there every once in a while. Have not found a really good juice place in this area yet. Yeah, chat's over there, screen's over there. Who am I? I'm Lewis's assistant. I'm an employee here, been an employee here for 3 years now. Used to be an auto mechanic, prior U.S. Marine, prior TSA security officer, prior Lucent Technologies, ACST. Yeah, done a lot of things. I'm like the oldest guy in the shop now. Not a boomer. Not a boomer. Although I do treat this stuff like that. And anything that gets worked on, work on your stuff to the fullest extent of you being able to work on it. Do everything you can to it. Don't shortchange anything. Don't shortchange your customers. Don't shortchange the machine. The machine deserves to be fixed properly, even though it's a Mac. And I think that's it for today. I have a lot of stuff in my queue. Friday, something of our system just vomited into my queue. So, I have an hour left. Good to see you, everybody. I guess I will be working here more often, coming up on stream every once in a while. I definitely need to unscrew Lewis's stuff here. This is one of my pet peeves, is that the wick container is all melted to shit. I hate that. It's almost new too. There's so much wick left in there. But had fun. Good to see you. Good to talk to all you guys. Have a good day. Hope you learned something.